This is APA tutorial number 11, References page. The References page has a few formatting guidelines. It will always start on a new page and have the word References at the top with a capital R and centered. The entire References page is double-spaced and there are hanging indents. A hanging indent means that a citation starts at the left margin, and then if a citation takes up more than one line, those additional lines are indented a ½ inch. Then start at the left again with the next citation. Use the Microsoft Word ruler to create the hanging indents so things will automatically adjust if you alter the text. Do not press enter at the end of each line and use the spacebar to make your hanging indent. Your resources will be alphabetized by the first word, which is usually the author. The references themselves also have formatting guidelines which you must follow. This includes punctuation, spacing, what goes into the citation, and in what order. Remember, there is only one space after periods in the reference citations. The formatting requirements for your reference page citations are not optional, nor are they adjustable. It is like a formula that you must follow exactly. Many databases and Google Scholar have citation generators where you can pick APA as your style and it will create a citation for you. These are computer generated with no verification, so there is no guarantee it is correct. If you use these generators, you will still need to check every space, punctuation mark, spelling, etc. to make sure that the citation is correct. If a source is listed on your references page, it must be cited in your paper with an in-text citation. If you did not cite it in your paper, it should not be on your references page. There are many specific situations when it comes to references, and this tutorial cannot cover them all. Be sure you review sections 6.22 through 6.32 and Chapter 7 in the APA manual to read about basic components of references, including additions, volumes, and other various special situations. These sections also address how to handle missing elements like anonymous works, works without dates, editors without authors, etc. Now we are going to look at some of the more common reference types and their formatting. Chapter 7 contains many more types of sources with examples, and this chapter will most likely be the part of the manual you refer to most often. The important thing to remember is that you check the APA manual to ensure your references page is accurately formatted. Here is a citation for a typical book. It has the hanging indent, but none of the references in this tutorial will be double-spaced in order to save room. The authors are listed with the last name, comma, space, then initials. Note there is a space between the initials of the authors. There is also a comma before the and symbol when there is more than one author, even if there is only two, which is different than the in-text citations. Capitalization of titles is the first word after the colon, and then proper nouns like Harvard in the example. If it is not the first edition, you will also put the edition in parentheses. Note that the publisher location does not use periods in the state abbreviation, and the publisher's name is listed exactly as their business name with capitalization and symbols like the ampersand as appropriate. Now let's look at an example of a reference for a chapter in a book. You can see some things are similar like the author's name, location, and publisher, but others are different. The chapter title is not italicized, and the editor's initials come first instead of the last name first. There's no comma before the and symbol when there are two editors, and page numbers of the chapter are included. This is why you have to look up every source to see what the formatting is like. If you do not include the chapter page numbers, it is incorrect. If you do not have a period after the editor's abbreviation, it is incorrect. Every little thing needs to be correct in order for you to avoid points being taken off for APA formatting. Here is a citation for a journal article with a DOI. DOI stands for Digital Object Identifier, which is basically an original ID assigned to an online article. Therefore, you would only have a DOI if it is electronic or digital. The authors and year are just like the book reference in terms of formatting. The title is the same capitalization but not italicized. Then comes the journal title, which is italicized and capitalized just like the journal capitalizes it. Immediately after the journal title is a comma, then the journal volume number, which is also italicized. Then the issue number in parentheses is not italicized, and there is no space between it and the volume number. Only use the issue number if the page numbering starts over with each issue. Then list the page numbers of the article followed by a period. One space after that, then the letters DOI, which are not capitalized, and a colon, and then the DOI. They will vary with a combination of letters and numbers and some punctuation. If you have an article without a DOI, the citation is identical to the one with a DOI, except it does not have the DOI and ends with the page numbers. You would not include the DOI if you cannot find one, or if it is a print article and does not have one. Not all electronic articles have a DOI, although most newer ones do have one. Older articles that have been digitized retroactively may or may not have them. The easiest way to find a DOI is to Google the article title, not using Google Scholar but regular Google. Then one of the top results is usually the publisher's or journal's website for the article. You should go to that site, and it doesn't matter whether or not you can read the full text because the DOI would be there in the article information. Another option is to use the crossref.org website listed here, but that is not quite as user-friendly as Googling the title. If you are citing a general website, here is an example of that citation. The author and year are formatted like other source types. The title of the website is in italics, and then it has retrieved from with the website. Note there is not a period at the end of the web address. Lastly, there should never be hyperlinks on your references page. In other words, when you put in a web address, Microsoft Word will usually turn it into a clickable link that is underlined in blue. Those should be unlinked on your references page by right-clicking on the link and selecting Remove Hyperlink to keep the text without making it a clickable link. What if you can't seem to figure out what type of source you have? Or if it seems to be two types combined? You can always ask a librarian or ask your professor. However, when in doubt, pick the source type that is closest to what you think you have. You will have to make your best estimate based on what you know, and remember, the idea is that people can use your references page to find the resource again. This concludes tutorial 11.